Good evening, everybody. Tá fáilte romh go dtí ollscoil Manú don College Speisialta is éal na hOllscoile. You're very, very welcome to Maynooth University's annual November Open Days. This is the Friday component. And my name is John McGinnity. I'm Admissions Officer and Assistant Registrar here at the University, and delighted that you could join us this evening. With me on the panel is my colleague Judith Caffrey, who's the Admissions Communications Officer and delivers out on a significant amount of the communications for the university's admissions team. And also with me this evening is a student, Hira Khan, who's studying law. And then later on, Hira will be introducing herself, but also giving a sense of the student perspective and what it's like to study here at Maynooth University. What we're going to do this evening is just give you an opportunity to see some of the new developments that's here at the university. It's a very dynamic, fastest growing university in the country. Sense of a place that's really where it's all happening. And one of the things I want you to do is, if you don't mind, is if you have questions for us, please pop them into the chat. So at the very bottom of your toolbar, if you have any questions about the university at all, we'd love them. And in fairness, it's any aspect of the university we really would welcome. I suppose this evening is really just a sense of an opportunity for you to ask us any questions. I suppose tomorrow, there's a lot more webinars and aspects where you can connect in with our students, join webinars on all of our programs across all of the faculties, and a significant amount of engagement on our website on the virtual open day at the university. So let's get started. I just have a few short slides to show, and then we'll have, I suppose, most importantly, will be the aspect of Hira and her experiences. Your questions, very, very important to us. And one or two little videos at the end, if that's okay. So let's try and share my screen here. Give me 1 second and we'll get that going. I hope you're seeing that okay there, Judith.
Yep, that's great, John.
So just the aspect of this evening is of the new developments of the university. And I suppose one of the things we should say to you is the sense whereby we have our new president, Eva Lunanen, who's just joined this year. And that's very exciting for us. As a university, we were extremely fortunate to have the care of our previous president, Professor Philip Nolan, who many of you would be aware has been actively involved at a university level, but also at a societal level, working on the NEFIT modeling group. And Professor Nolan had been involved in a significant amount of developments here at the university and served his 10-year term from 2011 until 2021. And then the university, very fortunate, the caliber of Professor Eva Lunanen, who has significant senior leadership experience across universities in the UK, across Europe, and in Australia. And we're very fortunate that she has joined the university and has already been involved in a number of different consultations and will be involved strategically in developing the strategic plan here with colleagues across the university over the next year or so, and then the unveiling of that strategic plan beyond that. I just want to mention the physical developments here. It's an expanding campus, a growing campus, and obviously we're taking due, I suppose, active development in that regard in terms of the student welfare and so on. I suppose importantly as well, I mean, as a university, there's always a sense of academic developments happening in tandem with the human development aspect and then the physical development aspect. And then there's a few other things I just want to mention as well, but just to give you an insight into the university, the things that have been happening over the last year, the things that may be happening and we're working on at the moment, just to give you those insights. So Professor Lunanen, as I mentioned, has been working in universities in Australia and has a very, very proud track record of working in terms of leadership across a range of universities. And it's a very exciting time for the university based on her experience and working with the university community in terms of our developments going forward. So just in terms of the physical developments, I suppose one of the things that people may sometimes not be aware of, but it's a very, very fast growing university. And for instance, this year we surpassed 15,000 students for the first occasion when we checked our registration numbers. And that's a milestone, a significant milestone for us here. In terms of the CEO undergraduate admission, it is about 3,600 students. And we're very proud of the fact, because each one of those students is a person for us. And we're very conscious of the role of a university, the sense of empowerment, the sense for each of those individuals to have an opportunity to fulfill an ambition, an aspiration. As part of their studies here, they'll be studying subjects that they'll enjoy and feel challenged in, but also the whole aspect of the social aspects and the growth that'll happen for them as well. Just to give you a sense of how that 3,600 breaks down, about 300 of the students would be of mature years. So they'd be coming to us over 23 years of age, where their academic attainment wasn't the criteria for which they were selected. It's more that sense of life experience. We had about 300 students then as well, who would have come in as part of the QQI, the PLC framework that we have. And it's a very strong pathways that we provide here at the university. And then, if I'm honest, then about 100 students from across the world, about 2,900 then students coming from Ireland through the CEO system as well. So a significant number, but every one of those students matters to us, and in terms of their development matters to us. So to cater for the growing number of students here at the university, we're very fortunate to have plans in place and a significant building, and we'll have a look at it later on. It's our Technology, Society and Innovation. It's the TSI building, which is literally at the nexus between the South Campus, many people collegially call it the old campus, and the North Campus, which is the new campus. So, it's a new signature building that's just on the Kilcock Road, and we're really looking forward to it. Rathegans are completing the building of it, and it will be coming to us in March 2022. So very exciting, significant space, increased space for student community and group teaching and so on. So a lot of space coming in terms of the next 3 months or so. I suppose the other thing that really matters to us is student welfare and the student clubs and societies. And so in partnership with the university and the Students' Union, and that's a very powerful partnership. It's basically the student body saying, this is something we want, the university saying, this is something we want. So the new student centre will be coming to us. Construction has actually started, and it'll be completed in 2023. And it's going to be a hub for clubs and societies. We've over 200 clubs and societies here, everything from the ones that you know about, like the GA and rugby and soccer and drama and debating and so on, but then other ones which are less known about, like Disney and the Tea Society, which are, as everybody, as important. And then the other thing that we're working on at the moment is the building of a significant commuter space for our students. So a large number of our students are coming in through our commuter transport networks every morning to us. And one of the things that we're very conscious of is that there's a commuter space, and in terms of bus spaces as well. So we're working on that, and plans are in place for that to happen over the next year or two. This is just a picture of the new TSI building, and you can see just in the foreground here the actual building, and this is almost, as I said, completion. You can see it's just coming there as one enters the new campus from the old campus. It's a very large building that will have a 500-seater theatre, 250 at 300-seater, and then a significant amount of collaboration spaces for students and networking spaces for students as well. I suppose you just can't see it fully in the background there, but the university has also acquired land over to the west of the campus. So the fields over to the west, just at the top of the diagram there, the university acquired those lands over the last couple of years, and there's a significant amount of building that will be taking place for students. For the new student centre will be actually happening and taking place. Currently is being built on those lands to the west of the campus. This is sort of a picture, diagrammatical picture of the new student centre with you can see here there's an outdoor living room as part of it, and then it's going to be the hub of all our clubs and societies. So the Students' Union, all of the actual societies of the university will be there for our student body. One of the things that I just would welcome you, if you have already been online at the university, there's a link out to MU Life, which is the student experience here. And if it's an open portal, yes, you need a login details to go in and delve down to various levels below that. But just at a cursory glance, you're able to click on all the clubs and societies and have a look in and see all of the activities that our students are involved in. It's a fascinating aspect of student life and something that's very important to our students and something that's really supported. So it's the MU Life page on our website, and you're more than welcome to join it and have a look. Just very briefly, I wanted to talk a little bit about the academic developments that are happening at the university, have been happening and will be happening over in the next while. So we're delighted to say that we have a number of new degree programs coming through on the CEO this year. One of the things that we were conscious of was the combination of business and languages. They're two strengths of the university. So students who have an interest in perhaps business management or international business or accounting and finance or marketing, and they want to combine it with any of our French, German, Chinese, Mandarin Chinese or Spanish, all of that's available for students now in a 4-year program, where you spend the 3rd year abroad in the host language. And so it's really the strengths of our School of Business with the strengths of our School of Language and Literatures and Cultures coming together to offer a program, which is a joint program where students will be able to take a business subject and a language to degree level. We're very pleased to say as well that the language can be taken at beginner level, because many students will be coming in and taking beginner, say, Chinese, but also students might have an interest in taking 2 intermediate languages where you've got it in your Leaving Cert, you'd need a H4, or indeed a beginner language as well. That's an option. The second degree that's new is the BSc in Economics, which is integrated with the MSc here. And it's really a fantastic program that's going to be built whereby the students, about 20 will be taken in, and each of the students will have a mentor who's an alumni of the economics department here. And so in some way from the very beginning, be involved in mentoring them as they work through their program. And we've been very careful in structuring the academic program so it knits in nicely to the masters, whereby students will seamlessly move on if they achieve the required grades at the end of the 3-year program. The next program I just want to mention there is Business and Global Cultures, and I think that's synonymous with the whole sense of business today is multicultural, the sense of the richness of different cultures and different societies, and the need for somebody who's working in the business domain to have an awareness of different aspects of different cultures. And so our anthropology department and the business school came together to create this program, which is the Business and Global Cultures. One of the wonderful things here at Maynooth University is the flexibility that's in our program offering. So students will have 4 weeks at the beginning of first year to decide which of the business subjects would they like to consider, which of our businesses, so business subjects. So it's a fantastic opportunity. The other degree here I just want to mention is a new degree that is pending final approval by the university's academic council in the beginning of December. So it's passed all of the normal hurdles and due diligence that programs have to go through as part of the university processes. But we would be, I suppose, quietly confident that the program will be announced publicly as in terms of being added to the CEO Advanced Entry Portal. So for applicants who have a level 6 qualification or equivalent in early childhood education, they'll be able to apply for advanced entry into the flexible degree program in early childhood, and it's MH004. So it's not for, I suppose, school leavers, because we have a separate degree, MH003, which is the BA Early Childhood full-time. But for those who are actually working in the important sector, that is the childhood sector, it's important just to be aware. The final piece I just want to mention is every year we have an additional electives coming through, and this is a 10 credit offering. So students can take credits from right across the university. And so it could be in filament screenwriting, it could be in climate change, it could be in a whole range of areas or languages. So we have students here in, for instance, science who want to take a beginner's language in second year, and that's available. And significant numbers of our students take electives in second year, and that's available. And we're always increasing the number there. Just briefly, if we look across the university, the other aspects which are so important, the whole aspect of the postgraduate programs, and this year particularly, there's a pipeline of new postgraduate programs coming down. I'll just mention one in particular, which is the Sustainability and Business Enterprise one, which is working with ourselves in partnership with other colleges, but also a significant number of other programs in the pipeline. One other thing is the development of micro-credential qualifications. So Maynooth University will be launching a number of short courses where people who are in perhaps employment who want to upskill in particular area. It might be digital marketing, it might be aspects of law, that can be done through what's called micro-credentials, where you get a qualification, but not for studies that might be maybe 1 or 2 or more years or longer. The other aspect we just want to mention is the new School of Law and Criminology. And this, I suppose, the law department was 10 years old and had added criminology to the portfolio of programs in the department. And the scale of the department was such to merit the establishment of a law and criminology. So certainly some of the household names that we hear in the media and hear in the radio and read are part of our law and criminology faculty. So a fantastic group of colleagues there in that new school. One of the things that Maynooth is synonymous with is world-leading research, and very, very pleased to advise that in some way, when I was doing some research myself in terms of, well, what is the income? This year, the income in terms of our research income rose from 28 million to 39 million, which is a fantastic increase in a single year. And when you compare it against other universities, the actual per capita, so if you take the research income and divide it by the number of the academic community, what you find at Maynooth University is it's top of class in terms of the significant where it's situated. Would be a significant number of our academics would be drawing a significant amount of research funding, which is a significant bonus to the university. And the other thing that's very strong here is, I suppose, because we're situated in such a rapidly growing, but also a strong industry base, some household names like Intel, Kerry Group, Pfizer, those companies are all in Kildare, and those are the companies that we're working in terms of our industry partnerships with. And that's something that's ongoing and something that we're going to continue. I think it's very important to say that Maynooth University is an international university, and we have partnerships with over 200 universities all over the world. But in the last couple of years, we did establish a campus in China, in Fuzhou, and that's offering, it's the Maynooth International Engineering College. And we've programs in electronic engineering, in robotics and intelligent devices, in computer science and software engineering, and indeed in the aspect of web development and multimedia, mobile and web development as well. So it's a significant range of programs and about 1,000 students now in our campus in China. I'll just pause at this second just to say again, if you have any questions about the university, we'd be delighted to help answer them. And so if you want to, just place them into the chat and we'll take them either as we go or towards the end. I just want to mention briefly the aspect of the commuter pass, and because we do get questions a lot around how do I get to Maynooth, and we have a significant range of commuter services, and that's growing all of the time. So this chart probably doesn't do it justice, but from Maynooth itself, right across all of the county towns right across Leinster and North Tipperary, North Munster are connections to the university. And for instance, in this year, we have new connections from Wexford, from Monaghan, from Tipperary and from Waterford. So just if you were thinking about the concept of getting to the university and the capacity to be able to get the commutability of it's something we're working on and continually hoping to grow. I'll just kind of pause and finish up at that point. And but what we might do at this stage, Judith, and here if it's okay, will we take a question or two, Judith, and then maybe hand over to here? Will we do it that way? Yep. Yeah,
that sounds good. We have a question in about ladies rugby. Is there a ladies rugby club in the university? So
there certainly is, and the rugby club is a collaboration between Maynooth University and the community here that is really based around Maynooth, Selbridge and Leixlip. So the club is MU Barnhall, and it's playing at a very competitive level, both at ladies rugby and men's rugby. Now, it's under the capable hands of Tom McKeown, who's the rugby development manager. And Tom is actually playing himself on the AIL. It's a Division 2A team here at the university, MU Barnhall. And we have a range of scholarship programs, both for women's rugby and men's rugby, as well as for Gaelic football, camogie, hurling, soccer, golf, a whole range of scholarship programs here at the university. But absolutely, the advice we'd give the person would be to connect in with Tom McKeown. His email is thomas.mckeown@mu.ie. The details are all on our website. The sports scholarship application closing date is the 1st of April. And so if you make application, then what happens is our sport development officers connect in with your coach, and there would be interviews and so on. We always say to students and to applicants, modesty is a fantastic attribute in life, but absolutely don't be modest in a sports scholarship application. You know, you've license to show off and tell us how good you are. So absolutely. I don't know if that answers the question, Judith, but
I think that's good.
Certainly welcome the application.
Thanks, John. And we have another question. I'm not too sure if we're going to be able to answer, but can you say something about business analytics?
Sure. So business analytics would be part of programs in our School of Business. Now, I think it's very important for me to say, we also have a BSc in data science as well. And so data science would be a combination of computer science, mathematics, and also statistics. On the business analytics side would be certainly more on the master's end, where we would have programs like Masters in Strategic Marketing. So we would have modules in the business school in business analytics, in some sense using, for instance, cases whereby you might be looking at search engine optimization in digital marketing. So we certainly would have business analytics, but it'll also refer the person to have a look at MH207, which would be our data science program. Or also we have statistics as an art subject, and we have statistics as well as a science subject. So thanks for that, Jude.
I clearly underestimated your ability to answer that question. And finally, John, in relation to studying as a mature student, can you go into more detail?
Sure. So one of the things that I want to say is that when we speak to colleagues across the academic community, they basically tell us that the mature students are the students who make a big difference to classes. They talk about I have to get this right, but there's something that you put in bread that makes the difference as to whether bread will be able to, help me here, Judith, I should know, but there's yeast. Isn't that it? Yeast, a raising
agent, yeah.
So the mature student is the yeast in the making of bread, and can make the difference in terms of classes. I suppose in some way, because they have life experience, they can basically say, well, I've actually done this, or I've seen this. And so just to say that we're very conscious that people may not have had an opportunity at a certain point in their life because of various family commitments or other things that were going on in people's lives. And it might be that they want to come back to college later in life, and we welcome you. So what we do is we set aside 10% of our places in all of our programs, and mature applicants then apply to the CEO before the 1st of February. Now, often people think as soon as I hear CEO, that's going to be about points and leaving cert. Not at all, because we're more broad-minded in the sense of wanting to give you an opportunity. And in fact, last year, what we found was the mature applications to the university rose significantly because, unfortunately, of the pandemic. A number of people became unemployed, and we felt that we had an opportunity and an obligation to create opportunity. So a mature applicant would apply before the 1st of February, and then depending on the degree or the discipline, there would be an assessment process that would take place during the spring, and then you'd be joining us in September 2022. I suppose if I can say here, there's a session tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, coordinated by our colleague Emer Sheeran, who's the Mature Student Officer. So at 10 o'clock in the morning, please join in to us, and Emer will go through the whole aspect of studying here as a mature student. Thanks, Judith.
Yes, John, a number of questions coming in, and I'm conscious that we'd like Hera to speak as well. Just in a joint law and language course, how much emphasis is placed on the language, and are there aspects of law possible to be studied in the choice language? So kind of relate to Hera there a little bit.
Yeah, so if you're okay, then Judith, I'll answer this question, then Hera, and then we'll come back to any more questions that's in the, how about that? Would that work with that one? Yeah. So Hera, I'll just answer this question if I may. And so what we offer here is a wonderful flexibility. So students can come in and take law. We would recommend you take law as a double subject, which would be 30 credits. So if you come into MH 501, which would be law and arts, you can take law with any language such as French, Chinese, or Spanish. Unfortunately, German is in the same timetable group as law. So the combinations would be law with Nuaguiliga, with Irish, French, Spanish, or Chinese studies. So in first year, you'll be doing, if you are intermediate and have a H4 in the language, you'll be doing 15 credits of the language, 30 credits of law, and 15 credits of another subject. If you were taking beginner's Chinese or a beginner language, you take 30 credits. And so basically what you'd have to do is you take law and a language in first year, and then in second year, you would be doing them in equal measure, 30 credits of law and 30 credits of the language. But we also would offer you the option of a major minor, which would be 40 credits of law and 20 credits of the language. So it would depend on your own preferences, whether you wanted to continue the language as a full double major, 30 credits with 30 credits of law, or indeed as a minor, which would be 20 credits of the language and 40 credits of law. But please keep the questions coming. There's lots of questions coming in. Please keep them coming. So here, I'll stop because it's more important that you speak. So over to you.
Thank you, John. Hi guys, my name is Hera Khan. I am a third year LLB law student. So that's single major law here at Maynooth. And I guess I should probably do a bit of a preface and a background into how I came to Maynooth. I took a pretty traditional route. I knew that I wanted to do law. I just didn't know where I wanted to do it. And I suppose what was important to me was a place where I could feel at home and I could feel comfortable. So my guidance counselor suggested I go to various different open days. And at the time, the Maynooth Summer Open Day was running. And so I went. And I suppose I could say that it was a successful experience because I am at Maynooth currently. So I went up, and as someone who lived in rural areas my whole life, I lived in Galway and then in Waterford. When I came into Maynooth, I kind of almost immediately knew that this is where I was going to end up, as cliche as that sounds. Maynooth is a university town, so we're kind of built around the town, or the town is kind of built around us, if that makes sense. And we're very, very, I suppose, immersed in that town experience as well as being within the university. The experience living off campus was actually a really great one because I was able to not only see or meet other university students, but I was able to meet people who were living around that area as well. And I suppose in terms of the students' experience, I would say that not much has changed from that open day. I think I knew that Maynooth students and student ambassadors and lecturers were all very, very friendly from that open day. And that point was only further proved when I came to Maynooth. Maynooth University is one of those rare places where if you stop a random person on the street walking up to the university or on campus, they will stop and they will make time for you. I had various different experiences in first year where I was a very, very lost student, and people came up to me themselves without further prompt and made time to explain to me kind of where I needed to go or to direct me to someone who could help me. And I know with the shift to online teaching, it's kind of difficult to imagine yourself in that situation. And I suppose I'm here not only to reassure you, but to confirm that your student experience is not limited. And from my own experience, from going completely to being in person to being online, I don't feel like my college experience was limited or restricted. It was just a different type of experience. And I think that over the last 3 years, I've learned that there's pros and cons to being in person and pros and cons to being online. And it's important to kind of grasp that concept and think of it as a learning experience going into both, you know, a hybrid working experience or being online completely or being in person. It's important to look at it from a view of what can I learn from this? And what I learned was independence and using my own initiative to explore channels that maybe I wouldn't have explored before. I would have been a very, I think, nervous student coming in. I didn't know anyone in Maynooth. I didn't know anyone from my year who was coming into Maynooth. So I was really, really nervous about making friends. And yeah, in first year, I sat beside people in lectures and turned and kind of said, hi, my name is Hira, introduced myself and met people. But I think that I made a lot of friends over the last year just by throwing into the course group chat if anyone wanted to do a meet and greet or if anyone wanted to arrange a study group. And I also made an effort to ask my lecturers if they would announce that, you know, there's a study group on at this time, and if you want to attend, you can join this Zoom link. And that was a great way to make friends. Another way that I kind of met people and I immersed myself in student life was through extracurriculars. When I was in first year, I was very, very nervous that I would go into, you know, for example, Games Society their first meeting, and I wouldn't know anyone and I would go alone. And I thought that, oh my God, like people are going to look at me and they're going to think like, why is she coming in by herself? Which was completely like, it was just me in my head. I don't think anyone really notices that much. But when we switched to an online experience, that nervousness kind of went away because I knew that everyone was kind of in their room and they would be joining on at the same time in the same capacity. A lot of our events were switched to being online, and I think that in itself was an experience as well, a positive experience. And so I suppose I would just finish it off with saying that we're in that kind of unfortunate experience where we don't know what's going to go forward. But if you do end up being in person or online or in a hybrid experience or in a hybrid working environment, please know that there are positives and you can get a great student experience. And if there's any questions now in terms of anything specific, or you may think that I brushed over something very quickly and you want to gain more insight into that, please do let me know. I'm more than happy to take them. Thank you.
Thanks, Hira. That was lovely. And thanks for sharing that with us. And I suppose in some way that authenticity, that sense of your own voice on this. So Judith, I'm just conscious of if there was any questions for Hira or myself.
Well, relating to, I suppose, scholarships and that side of things, we have a couple of questions about sports scholarships. So are there any available for basketball? And also, can you earn a scholarship whilst playing for a college team, or do you have to be a scholar from the beginning?
Okay, so just to say in terms of the sports scholarship, I should have said at the beginning that normally what happens is an application is made before the 1st of April, and they are sometimes for our sport development officers. So that would be for rugby, for GA, for soccer, for golf. But what happens then is there's a set of athletes who are competing at an international level. And what we do then is we have another stream, which is the applications are made to our Director of Sport, Paul Davis. And so in the case of, say, basketball, you would have to be playing at a very competitive level. And in some cases, I think Paul will be asking for either international representation, but it's something that you could liaise with Paul Davis on. The rule we have for sports scholarships, and my colleague Kay Mitchell in the admissions office is the person who's an expert in the whole sports scholarship development of assessing applications with our sport development officers. But when they look at it, you have to have at least 300 points you have to be within 60 points of the cutoff of the degree. So if the degree was 460, you'd have to get at least 400 points. And so there's a whole due diligence of assessment process has gone through from the moment you make an application until whether or not you get the scholarship. So I think what I'd be saying is you'd have to be playing at a really competitive level on the basketball, but please contact into our colleague Paul Davis on the sport development. And then the other question you had, Judith, was the aspect of do I have to be playing for this college team from the beginning? And so in some sense, what happens is sometimes a student might miss out on the scholarship, but during the year play at a very competitive level for the university teams. So if you take of something like soccer or rugby, and a student didn't get a scholarship from day one, but came here in first year and really proved themselves, then they would be knocking on the door for a scholarship for second year. And again, so that sense whereby just because you didn't get it for first year wouldn't preclude you from getting it further down the line. I hope that makes sense, Judith. Yeah.
That's great. And then just finally, there was a question about being a foreign student, and are there many other students with international citizenship in the university?
Yep. So when we look at our demographics, we've about students from about 90 different countries. 10% of our intake, so 10% of the students here would be from another country outside the island of Ireland. And that's something we're very proud of because it kind of creates a richness on the campus community. So if the question was the sense of if I went to Maynooth, what would be the demographic mix? So I'd have to say that at least 10% of the students here are were not born in Ireland. Yeah.
And John, I might further.
Sure, Hira, yes, please.
And say that there are a lot, there's a huge range of actually societies that would represent different cultural or ethnic backgrounds. I know even just from my time in the university, my best friend started up the Indian Society 2 years ago only. So if you find that you may join and you're not sure about where you would go to find people who come from the same country as you, or who are from the same ethnic or cultural background or even religious background, you can always go into the Clubs and Societies office, or even just send them an email online, for example, and ask if there is a society as such. And if there isn't, you can always start one.
John, scholarships for mature students and just any other type of scholarships apart from sports?
Yep, for sure. So we have a very important scholarship scheme, but it's national. So it's the SUSI grant. It's the Student Universal Support Ireland. And the Student Universal Support Ireland would assess a mature applicant. And if income was less than €50,000 approximately in the last calendar year, so that would be, well, in the current calendar year, which would be from the 1st of January 2021 to the 31st of December, they would look at income. Now, there is a fantastic Ready Reckoner, financial Ready Reckoner on the SUSI website. So if you just Google SUSI, SUSI.ie, you can actually put in the criteria in terms of your age and income and so on, and it will advise you whether or not you would be able to get. There's two aspects of the grant. One is the payment of the tuition fee, or I should say the student contribution charge here, which is €3,000. But on top of that, there's a maintenance grant whereby the SUSI would actually not only pay the student contribution charge of €3,000, but they would also pay a maintenance for books and clothes and food and accommodation and so on. And then separate to that, there are scholarship schemes like the 1916 bursary. So that's a scheme whereby the government brought out in recognition of the centenary of the 1916 rising back in 2016. There was a group of scholarships brought through. So on our, we have a wonderful student budgeting office here. So even if you just Google Maynooth student budgeting, on the student budgeting page has all of the scholarships for mature students. So I certainly would be recommending a mature student not to think that there isn't funding. There absolutely is. And then often what happens, a mature student might be coming here and then working part-time or working over the summer to fund themselves. So it's something that we would certainly welcome an application, and please check out the scholarships available either on SUSI or the 1916 bursary or other bursaries as well.
And then I suppose the entrance scholarship as well would be worth mentioning.
Correct. So we have an entrance scholarship, which is for applicants who've got 575 points or more in their Leaving Cert or A levels, so or indeed in international qualifications, because what we do is we have a conversion. So say you studied in Germany and had an abitur, or studied in France and had a French baccalaureate, we look at that and make a conversion to points. And if your points relevance, our colleague Avian Cooper does a tremendous amount of work in this area of credential evaluation. So we assess that and give it equivalence to Irish Leaving Cert. And if you get 575 or more, there's €1,000 that you get as a scholarship. And for instance, this year we had students from almost, a number of different countries: France, Germany, Austria, Spain come to mind, as well as many other countries as well. You're just muted there, Judith.
Beg your pardon, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Rook here. Information on computer science. Tomorrow, I suppose, would be the time for that.
So that's given me a lovely moment to say, right now, just on the university's Open Day website, on the very first page of the website, there's a button for course presentations. And if you click on that, it'll take you into a set of tiles, different colored tiles with different subjects. And so there's subjects like computer science, computational thinking, robotics and intelligent devices, a whole range of computer science and computer science related courses. And if you click on those, you'll be able to view or listen to a presentation on computer science. And then tomorrow, as part of our faculty live webinar series, Dr. Joe Timoney, who's head of our computer science department, will be presenting on a live webinar about computer science. I met him the other day and he showed me kind of the areas he's going to be covering, which is the curriculum, but also the jobs, but also where are the graduates, where are the Maynooth University computer science graduates, what are they doing now? So he's doing that piece as well. And so that's all there as part of the live webinar tomorrow between 11 and 1 p.m. I should say computer science is also available as a subject in arts, in the humanities, MH 101. And computer science is also available as a subject in our science degree. So the wonderful thing about Maynooth is not only we've computer science as a degree of it in its own name, but we've computer science as a subject where you can combine it with other disciplines across the arts program, or indeed the science program as well.
Great, John. Question about getting Leaving Certificate equivalent translated. So translated in terms of language and conversion of points achieved. Yep.
So we're very, I suppose, international in our perspective here at the university. So we welcome students applying internationally. So what we would do is take your international qualification. Now it would be, in some way we have to measure it against the Leaving Certificate, the Irish Leaving Certificate, but we have a sense of different countries, the end of school qualification in that country, and then we have a process whereby we do a conversion of your qualification to the Irish requirements. Now maybe if we were looking for mathematics or a language, we would be checking that in your qualifications. So if you apply, we will be assessing that. If you wanted, there is a state body called the NARIC, which is part of, so that's NARIC, which is part of Qualifications and Quality Assurance Ireland. It's QQI. So there's a free service for residents of Ireland where you can send your qualifications in and they will do a conversion for you. Now that's just to explain where the relevance is to the national framework of qualifications. But certainly if you're applying to the university, we will do an assessment of it either at undergraduate level or indeed at postgraduate level.
Great, John. Question for Hira. Are societies and clubs still running? And if so, are they online or are they on campus?
Yes, so they absolutely are running. And in terms of whether they're in person or on campus, it really does depend on the situation. As it is right now, we're capped to having 50 students in a large lecture hall for an event. So for example, I've been to events where they have predicted that perhaps more than 50 people would come. So in that situation, there's an online booking system and you would book your place. And if the numbers have, reached their limit, the societies are actually running their events capturing the essence of that hybrid working environment and are running their events in person and live streaming. So you have the opportunity to attend either in person, or if you're commuting and you have to get the bus home, you can join from your phone.
That's it. We've answered all the questions that were live.
That's fantastic. So can I say thanks to Hira on your behalf, and best of luck. I know, Hira, you're working at the moment, and you're going to be back to us though next year for your final year. Is that or what stage? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be back April 29th. I have a final assessment to hand into the law department, and then I'll be back full time for final year, which I'm very excited about.
Okay. Well, listen, the best of luck for your future, and confident it's a bright future. And Judith, thank you very much for this as well. Folks, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm conscious it was just a broad brush treatment of aspects of the university. I have 2 videos to play. Hopefully the technology will manage that I can manage the technology. The 2 videos, one of them is the new academic building. And then after that, I'll play the video of the new student center, which is the new hub for clubs and societies. So what we'll do is we'll finish up the webinar, but we won't end it because we'll just wait, because there could be questions as we play the videos. And so if you have any questions, please come in on the questions. We'll try and answer them in the chat. We'll finish up by also saying, please come back to us tomorrow, because tomorrow really is the opportunity for you to engage and listen to our students, listen to the academic community, get a sense of being able to talk to the people who teach on the program. It's very, very important to us to give you the opportunity to meet with them, to hear about their program, their subjects. They're spending their lives in maybe in history, or it could be computer science, or it could be economics. And so you'll sense that from them, that they want to share their knowledge with you. So please come back and join us tomorrow. Have a look at the website and decide what webinar you wish to do. Please know that you can move between webinars during the day. You're in control. So whatever you want to join or leave or whatever, you're more than welcome to do that. So thanks again for joining us. If you have any questions, please pop them in the chat. And as we play out, we'll just play those 2 videos, and fingers crossed the technology doesn't let us down. All the best now, and take care. Bye-bye. So that was the new student centre, and I'll just very quickly here then, we'll have a look at the academic building now again. This is the new Maynooth academic building that's coming next month, or in March. So good night, everybody, and stay safe. All the best. Bye-bye.